Some of you are not going to believe what this woman is about to say. I don't have to say thing one. Check this out.
It's important for people to understand that a virus has never been isolated. Not once, not ever, and never will be, because it doesn't exist as described. If you look at Dr. Stefan Lenke's work, he was the one really to get things vocalized. He's a German virologist, biologist, and he was actually the one to first identify a phage in the ocean, which are large structures that actually support the terrain of the fish and help them overcome disease. So they're not pathogenic. And when he realized that, he's like, something's very wrong. And he started to look at measles virus particularly, and he wanted to see the original papers that identify the virus and name it, measure it, and describe it appropriately. And he found that in all the original papers, that was not done. None of the viral particles, as they have described and shown cartoons of, and colored pictures of, and fancy CGI of, they don't exist like that. They aren't seen on 2D microscopes properly. They're artifacts of the body, and they're produced when the body undergoes stress. Stress, toxins, and nutritional deficiencies will lead to issues in the body where cells start to proliferate because they have to fix a problem. And when you have waste material gone out of control, then you have to remove them. The body has to remove them. Now, if you are living a lifestyle where you're feeding yourself all kinds of bad foods, smoking cigarettes, drinking alcohol, drinking lots of coffee, not taking care of your health, then each spring you usually go through a natural sort of detox where you remove these materials through mucus out of the body. And if you take that mucus and you look at it under a microscope, you'll find all these kinds of particles. And if you're looking for these groups of particles, you'll kind of find what you're looking for. And it's basically like saying flies have caused the garbage that you made. But no, you make your garbage and then the flies are attracted to the garbage. So same thing in your body. You make the garbage, your own microbes go to work pleomorphically, polymorphically, meaning they change shape. So a bacterium becomes a fungal form, becomes a viral form, and so on. Not to make you toxic or make you sick per se, as they've described it, and give you bad things, but to actually assist the body to remove the poisons from all the tissues and remove them appropriately. If you're in a nutritional deficiency state, then what's going to happen is you can't remove it appropriately through the liver and through the kidneys. You will use other organ systems like the skin, as we see in measles or chickenpox, as we see in the lungs coming out, which is inappropriate. Ideally, you would go right through the liver. So people say, oh, you shouldn't say that, you might get it, and then what happens? And I say, I will never get it. I'll never get it because I detox my body regularly and I give myself good nutrition and I don't poison myself. I'm not afraid of anything that I couldn't even possibly catch anyway. So understanding that right from the beginning, we do not have a virus, we do not have it identified appropriately, and it does not satisfy Henle-Cox postulates. And even in the original papers from COVID, from China, it states in that research that it does not satisfy Cox postulates, which means if you take an isolate and you remove it and you put it in a healthy individual, you should be able to make that disease appear. They have not done that work. They cannot do that work, because if they were able to actually isolate it and do that and try to infect a healthy subject, nothing would happen. If you look at any study done on contagion, what they have to do in order to produce a disease response is poison the host. It's exactly what vaccines do, by the way. If you actually could make a vaccine with just the isolate of what you were trying to promote some sort of immune response from, say, even a bacteria, what would happen is nothing, because you have to first poison the host in order for them to go through a violent response and produce cytokine storms and all these kinds of immuno particles to get this absolute non-self out of the body. And that's why vaccines don't work unless they put the poison adjuvants in, the metals and the polysorbates and the antibiotics and all of these violent tissues that don't belong in your body. So right there, we don't have contagion and we don't have viruses. From the research, from the base of the history of it, and I always encourage people to go read Dr. Stefan Lenke's work. If you're new to this, if you're trying to understand this, you cannot take a virus and put it in a biological lab and make some Frankenstein monster, because the second it hits air, the second it hits the sun, it's over. It denatures. It's done. It dehydrates, okay? All you can do, if you want to make a Frankenstein monster, which I know they have in lab, you put it in the vaccine and you put it in people's bodies, and then you have a very big problem on your hands. So the first step is to make sure you're eating right, you're detoxing the body, you're learning about how to do that. And the next step is to not take a vaccine, because that is exactly how you do get the biological agent inside your blood, in which it will cause a huge problem on every possible level and can be very hard to heal, as many of us had the test severe vaccine damage. I am myself. So I just want to address that. I have all the research and all the papers for anybody who wants that information. I'm more than willing. I have blog articles on my website, lots of videos on this topic, so you can learn about why this does not exist as described, and to understand pleomorphism, that we make the particles ourselves. And that's why they say it mutates. Oh, it's changed a little from Italy to Iran to Canada. Why? It hasn't mutated at all. It's because we each make individual particles that are a little bit different than everybody else. So you can look at that map that they say it's mutated, and it's all bollocks. So I want to get that point across. Thank you.
Thank you for watching. God bless.